Okay, preview time. This coming weekend, PFL 8, part of the 2023 playoffs for the PFL, and UFC 292 Sterling versus O'Malley. Let us begin with 4 of the bouts from PFL 8. Here we go. Going down this Friday, August 18th, which happens to be my wedding anniversary. Also, today is my parents' wedding anniversary. So, happy anniversary, Barb and Stu.
Very nice.
We said it in reverse.
Yeah. In reverse. Should I say it's Stu and Barb?
No, I said we said it in reverse. You said Barb and Stu, and I said Stu and Barb. Sometime.
So this Friday, August 18th, going down at the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York, New York, PFL 8. Here we go. Heavyweights and women's featherweight. Let us begin with... Where's this fight? Oh, here it is. I got it right here. This is going to be a hard one to say. Marina? Mokhnatkina. Anybody? Say it.
Mokhnatkina.
Mokhnatkina. Those tricky Russians. Going up against Amber Leibrock. Pardon me if I say that wrong as well. Mokhnatkina. Fuck it. Just fucking.
It's calling Marina.
It's Marina. The 35-year-old out of St. Petersburg, Russia. She's 10-3 as a pro. 5 submissions on a 4-fight win streak coming into this Friday. Amber, her opponent, also 35, from Hayward, California. 7-5 as a pro with 5 knockouts. Coming off of a loss against the Larissa Pacheco. Mark, start us off. Give us your take and your pick.
All right, pretty wide odds here. Marina Mokhnatkina is minus 430 as the favorite. Amber Leibrock, forget, is plus 300 as the dog. This is really just the battle to see who is going to be food for Larissa Pacheco in the finals. Big size advantage for Amber. She's 6 inches taller. She has 6 inches of reach. She's here by virtue of one big knockout that earned her a bunch of points in the PFL format. Mokhnatkina is here because she's actually a pretty solid fighter. Her only loss in the PFL thus far is up at 155 to Kayla Harrison. And I think that she can just lean on her grappling all fight long here. There's no reason for her to mess around on the feet with Leibrock. I don't think she will have to because I don't think Amber can keep it there. And I will say that Marina Mokhnatkina controls most of this fight with her wrestling and wins AUD.
Omar?
I would have to agree as well, especially about the control on the ground and being able to kind of keep the fight where she wants. But I would be hesitant not to think that Mokhnatkina doesn't have the ability to stop Leibrock as well. She's a scrapper, man. She doesn't have a ton of power behind her, but she's definitely one to scrap and to strike. And I think if she gets enough volume, and especially if she gets it down to the ground and starts working her ground and pound, she has the ability to finish from the bottom, or from a grounded position. But I just think Leibrock is going to be at a disadvantage here once it gets down to the ground. So I'm going to go with the TKO finish here, round 3 for Mokhnatkina.
Okay. Here
Michael,
we go.
will you be making a selection?
I don't know these ladies well enough, but I will say I'll go with the Russian by submission.
For what it's worth, her minus 430 is by far the closest odds of these 4 semifinal fights.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A lot of wide fights here.
Okay, Denis Goltsov, the Russian Bogatyr, whatever that means, going up against Jordan Heiderman. Reminds me of Heidegger, the philosopher. Okay, Goltsov, the 33-year-old out of also St. Petersburg, Russia, riding a 4-fight professional win streak coming into this Friday. 25 of his 31 wins by finish, 15 of those knockouts. Jordan Heiderman, the 31-year-old out of Nebraska, undefeated, 7-0, 5 finishes. Omar, give us your take and your pick.
So real quick, Bogatyr apparently is from, it's a quote-unquote stock character in medieval East Slavic legends. So basically the way that we generally refer to like a knight, right? From like Old English or whatever the hell, that's like that's their knight. In modern day Russian, it basically refers to a courageous hero, an athlete, or a physically strong man. But the origin seems to be from the use of a stock character in their Slavic knight tales, I guess.
Good research.
Thank you. All right. So I do think that the resume from Goltsov is just a little bit stronger. I trust him a little bit more when it comes to this fight. I think he's been in there with guys that are significantly better than Heiderman is, and there's no shade to Heiderman. I just think he's just a little on the newer side and hasn't really been exposed to this level just yet. So I do think that Goltsov is going to eat here, and I do think he finishes him here. I think I'm going to go with a round 1 KO.
Mark?
All right, so Goltsov is minus 775. Jordan Heiderman
Christ.
is plus 475. Goltsov's 2 inches taller. Heiderman actually has half an inch on the reach side. We saw Heiderman on Tough, if anyone watched that season, where he got one big TKO win and then got finished by Zach Pauga. He's solid. He certainly has some potential, but I absolutely agree. I do not expect that he is at a level to be beating a guy like Denis Goltsov. Goltsov is good. He's 9-2 in the PFL. His losses are to Ali Isaev, who's now in Bellator doing well, and to Ante Delia, who was last year's PFL champion. And I don't really think Heiderman brings much into the cage that can deter Goltsov. So he's a beast. I think he walks him down and puts him out. I will say round 1 knockout as well for Denis Goltsov.
I will third that and say Goltsov knockout. Okay, let's move on to the fight that we really want to talk about. Larissa Pacheco taking on Olena Kolesnyk from Ukraine. Pacheco bursting onto the MMA stage at a global level by defeating Kayla Harrison last year. She is on a 8-fight professional win streak coming into this Friday, taking on the big Ukrainian, Olena Kolesnyk, the Cannon. The 32-year-old, 9-5 and 1 no contest. 5 of her 9 wins coming by way of finish. Back-to-back wins coming to this Friday. Mark, start us off. Give us your take.
So Larissa Pacheco is a very casual minus 1,000. Olena Kolesnyk is plus 600. She is 3 inches taller than Larissa. Pacheco will have a 1-inch reach, though. Kolesnyk did beat Aspen Ladd and Yoko Higashi to get here this season, where she now gets her 3rd shot at Pacheco after being finished the prior 2 times in a combined under 10 minutes. But hey, we saw what Pacheco did in her 3rd shot against Kayla Harrison, so you never know. But I don't think we are going to see the same storyline play out here. Larissa Pacheco is better. She's a lot better. And it's going to take someone more than Olena Kolesnyk, no offense to her, to beat Larissa Pacheco right now. I think we likely see more of the same. It's been 2 first-round finishes in their series so far, and I'm going to actually say we see a 3rd one. I will go Larissa Pacheco, round 1 TKO.
Omar?
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan or confident in Olena's ability to stop strikes from hitting her in the face. And Larissa Pacheco is not the type of person where from the jump you don't want to be giving up shots like that. And I think she will. I'm actually surprised it's at minus 1,000. I would have went minus 2 or even minus 2.5, to be honest. So I'm definitely going with Larissa Pacheco, and I think it's going to be a clean KO this time. Round 1.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I fucking love that pick. Let's go. Pacheco continues to roll. She's going to be dominant over the Ukrainian. I'm going to go round 1 knockout as well. Okay, let's go main event. Here we go. We have Renan Ferreira taking on Maurice Greene, who has possibly the best silly nickname in all of combat sports. First, we'll talk about Renan Ferreira Problema the 32-year-old out of Goiás, Brazil, 10-3 with three no contests. 9 of his 10 wins have come by way of finish. 8 of those knockouts. Maurice Greene, the crochet boss, out of Evanston, Illinois, 11-8 as a pro. 9 of his 11 wins, finishes, 6 of those submissions. Looking to get back in the win column after losing back in June under the PFL banner. Mark, start us off. Give us your take and your pick of this PFL playoff main event.
So another pretty wide odds here. Renan Ferreira or Ferreira, I forget it. How does he say it? Renan Ferreira, I think. He is minus 750. Maurice Greene is plus 475. Mo Greene's a big man, as we know, and he is the smaller man here. 1 inch of height and 3 inches of reach on the side of Renan Ferreira. This was supposed to be Ferreira against Marcelo Nunes, but Nunes withdrew, and Maurice Greene gets to step into the semifinals here. But it does feel somewhat fair, considering Maurice Greene actually finished Nunes by TKO this season, but he just ended up finishing with a couple less points than him and therefore missed the playoffs, but he gets in after all. As far as the matchup, though, I like Mo Greene, but I just think he's going to be outgunned here. I think Renan Ferreira is just a freak and a scary man, and that he's going to walk Greene down. And I think to beat Ferreira, you either have to be a really strong striker as well, or you have to have wrestling in your pocket. And I just don't think Greene's wrestling is good enough to swing this fight. So I think it's going to be the same deal as the other heavyweight fight. I think it's early pressure from Ferreira, and I'm going to say round 1 knockout here as well. Setting up a Goltsov Ferreira final, which should actually be a solid one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a little bit of a mismatch. I like Maurice Greene, I really do. I think he's a nice personality in the sport, especially on the PFL side of things. But I think that Ferreira is going to show that this is a mismatch, and I'll say that, I guess, in a polite enough way. I'll say Ferreira gets it done. I'm going to say he's going to get Maurice Greene out of there, and I'll say it will be a round 2 TKO. Okay, let us.
Omar didn't pick.
Oh, my bad. Omar, do your thing.
I feel like Maurice Greene should be better than he is. He trains with such high-level people. He seems like he puts in the work. Like, I want to believe in him, but at every turn, I feel like it's not happening. I'm gonna do it one more time.
I knew you were.
Probably not the greatest decision.
Omar's gonna pick Maurice Greene when we get to PFL.
Probably not the greatest decision. Admitting it now, but it's just wild to me. Like, what the fuck? If you're training with John Jones, like, every day for weeks on end, like, how are you not better? How are you? There's no way. But there's no way, right? Like, he has to be getting better. So I'm going to go with that notion that he just has to be getting better. So I'm going to go with Maurice Greene.
Okay.
Unanimous decision.
How? UD for Maurice Greene, the crochet boss. You got it. You're making me think of this this bit I heard from Colin Cowherd once. I used to fuck with Colin Cowherd. Where he talked about, like, how guys who are that level of, like, elite, who are just, like, so much better and just, like, so good, sometimes it's tough to learn from them. I think he was talking about Jordan, and he was talking about, like, Tom Brady, and using these guys as examples, and, like, LeBron James, and why, like, sometimes these kinds of guys will try their hand in, like, coaching, like when Larry Bird coached the Pacers briefly, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, he's like, why can't these guys, like, be great like me? Not that they coach like that, but This was, like, Colin Cowherd's, like, take on this kind of stuff. And you're making me think of that, like, Maurice Greene training with John Jones. Like, John Jones is just dynamic. He's just fucking electric. I don't know. Maybe it's that kind of dynamic. Like, maybe it's, what do you have to learn from John Jones? He's like, just do what I do. Like, he's just fucking be amazing.
But it's more than that. At least in my experience, whenever I train with somebody that's better than me, that knows more than me, that is more responsive than me in a lot of different situations, Like I pick up on that stuff, right? Those are things that I learned. Those are looks and feels that I'm not used to, that I'm now exposed to. So now I know that they're there, and now I know that they're real and they exist, and I need to focus on them. And so they just become something that I begin to practice and add to my repertoire. And that's literally what I spend time doing. Like when I'm training, I'm generally trying to train with people who are better, or who will at least point out flaws in what I do so that I can focus on them and get better. A lot of the reason why I record myself as well is so that I can see myself doing things, because when I feel them, a lot of times things that I'm doing wrong don't necessarily feel like they're wrong, because I feel like I'm doing them right. And a lot of times that's not the case. And I just feel like Maurice Greene, in a position where he's fighting and training with a lot of these elite guys, like I don't expect John Jones to be giving him like one-on-ones, but like if you're sparring John Jones, or if you're wrestling John Jones, like if you're not getting better at all, then I don't even know why you're doing it, because it can't be fun. Like at some point it sounds like you're going to get your ass beat if you're not learning anything, right? But in my head, if you can stop John Jones's 2 takedowns, 3 takedowns in a practice match, how can I not believe that you'd be able to stop somebody else's takedowns who is far less talented and skilled than John Jones? So that's that's really what I feel like my mind is going to, and what I feel like should be happening with Maurice Greene. But it is, as we're sitting talking about it, it might just be that Maurice Greene doesn't learn the same way as other people do, or maybe at very minimum the way that I do or think that I do. So there might be something to say about that, but I'm still going to keep the faith. I'm still going to stick with Greene.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a mediocre take, I guess. I mean, look, we meet weekly, and we bring our opinions and our takes. A guy like Colin Cowherd has to talk for like 5 hours a day, every day, and like generate takes.
I get the take more with Cowherd's take, though, because I don't want to go down a huge rabbit hole, but
That's okay.
In those sports, it's a coach who is coaching, and he is maybe not, in like the Bird example, he had so much that just came innate to him, like his understanding of the game, and it could be hard for him to be like, why aren't these guys getting this? In the MMA example, Bones is literally rolling with and sparring with Maurice Greene. It's not, he's still in his prime. Larry Bird is a retired older man. I'm sure he could scrimmage with them, but it's not the same thing as actually rolling with a John Jones. So I think the point somewhat applies, but not fully applies in the same way.
Sure.